Hey, and welcome to the first episode of the Mind Power Paradigm with Elly
Yeah.
and you, everybody. So welcome. Today is December 1st, and it is the beginning of the month. And Natalie and I started thinking about 90-day goals and or 90-day intentions, and what would life look like if we were standing in the end of March 31st, and looking back, what would life look like for us? Nat, you got some ideas over there?
So for everyone, it's going to look so different, right? I think for the next 90 days, it's setting intentions of what you want the next 90 days to look like, right? Whether that be in business, whether that be in health, whether that be in your relationships, whatever that looks like for you, we all need to be moving forward with a plan over the next 90 days. I feel like most people get caught in this easy the road well traveled, right? And there were just robots just going through each day instead of saying, I want to take the road less traveled. But what is that going to take and what is that going to look
Right. And having a plan, of course, and then sticking to the plan. I always encourage people to write it out. Get a journal, start a new journal if you don't have an old, you don't want to use an old journal. 90 days. Okay, this is what I'm going to look like in 90 days, and what's it going to take to get there? Well, if you want to be slimmer and fitter, you're going to have to work out and eat differently. Those are things, and you'll have to change your mindset, right? So
100%. It all starts in the mind, right? The mind controls all. So it's all mind power. But yeah, I love what you said as far as you need to have a plan, right? It first starts with a vision, and that goal needs to be written down and then executed, but also visualizing your highest self in 90 days, right? What
yeah,
does he or she look like? What
yeah.
is he or she wearing? What season is it? What smells are around you? Who's surrounding you? Really internalize that in your mind and visualize it. And I do this with a lot of my clients on day one of their health journey, right? Like, draw me a picture. Let's pretend like we're five. Let's draw it out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I did this morning. I didn't do the drawing part, but I stepped back and I wrote in my journal. Today is March 31st. And I'm so excited because this has come to fruition and this has come to fruition. And I really wrote the whole thing out in detail, with feeling it real and having the senses there and the emotions. And it was really quite, it was, wow, it's exciting. And then to read it every single day and to stay committed to those actions, because those are the commitment and the persistence. And this brings me to something that is close to, like, in my business, and I know that you hear this all the time, but Natalie, Elly, I'm this way because I'm just this way. This is how I am.
Right. It's self-limiting beliefs, right? It's placing blame on, probably most likely, I'm not sure you hear this often, but I hear it often. You place blame on your environment or your circumstances, and we never put the mirror on ourselves, right? I can't, I will not, it's because. And I generally kind of reference the drama triangle in the sense of we're stuck in this victimized state. I'm the victim of my environment. I'm the victim and can't get healthy because it's the holidays. I'm the victim, my business won't grow because there's too many people like me and I can't, right? Instead of stepping into ownership and saying to yourself, I am going to get healthy. I am going to rock the holidays. I am going to take radical responsibility in my choices. And it all, again, starts in your mindset.
Right. And I love that. It's all about taking responsibility. And, it's interesting because, I too work as a coach, as you do. And so one of the biggest things that determines whether I know that a client and I are going to be compatible is the level of responsibility that they're willing to take. If we have one of those initiation calls, those intake calls, and I'm looking at heavy duty victimization, well, the task then becomes, for the most part, taking ownership, recognizing, hey, I'm responsible for everything that I have, everything that I do, and who I'm being. I am responsible for my results.
Mm-hmm.
And any tips on claiming responsibility?
Well, I think at first, for many people, it starts with fear of failure, right? So we don't want to take radical responsibility, because if we do and we fail, we're responsible, right? So again, it's this false sense of safety. Well, I can't get healthy because it's the holiday. You're in a safe place, right? It's the holidays that are protecting you, or it's your busy schedule that's protecting you, or it's I'm doing too much and can't really give this my all, protecting you, instead of stepping into fear, right? I always say walk towards your fears, don't walk away from them. Lean into them, because nothing grows in comfort zones, and you have to be uncomfortable to eventually become comfortable and
Yeah.
grow. If you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. So yeah, step into it.
Yeah, yeah, that's great advice. I remember when I first started, long time ago, I started the transformational journey, and somebody said to me, I was invited to an event, and it was fear based that I didn't go because on a not very deep conscious on a not very deep level, I knew that going to this event was going to change my world. And was I ready to have my world changed? Was I ready for this uprooting? When the woman said to me, stop using your family as human shields. And I was like, whoa, wait a second. I'm not using my family as a human shield. And then I reflected, oh, yes, I am. I can't, yeah, my kids, my mom, my husband, yada, yada, yada. All right. And it was like, okay, I was afraid of the transformation. I was afraid of what would happen if I made those changes.
Yeah.
And you know what? Those were big changes that needed to happen. And life has only been better, better, and better because of them. And, you know,
It starts in your mind, Ellie. I mean, it
yeah,
truly started in your mind. It was releasing the old and stepping into the new. And that sometimes, like, we had spoken about on another call, it's killing off your old self and stepping into your future self. And
yeah.
killing off your old self is hard, because that has or was your identity for a very long time.
Yeah, it's so true. And then, the other thing that we were talking about is how we argue. People argue for their limitations. They argue for their illness. They argue for their human shields. They argue that they can't do this. And it's this resistance. And then you get into, not you, people get into the complaining, and then the complaining leads to resignation and cynicism. And again, not taking responsibility for the life on the other side of that, which
Yeah.
is, not you. I'm going to call it utopia. Okay. That's what I call it. Having what you want, being who you say you want to be. And all one needs, if, in my opinion, is have somebody hold your hand,
Yeah.
like you did when I started that weight reduction journey that I had been putting off for 12 freaking years. Okay. So,
Here's to that. Yeah, community and accountability in any facet of your life is super important. Like, I love even working with a mentor, right? And I'm a coach. So every mentor, every coach needs a coach. And I actually just started a 31-day fitness, group with specific people who wanted to take responsibility and dive into it. So, that eating season, that this season that we're in is coined, we're actually throwing that into the fire and walking into 31 days of radical responsibility and leveling up with measurable goals. And that goal, Ellie, each week could be, hey, I got 64 ounces of water in. Hey, I passed up the cookie, right? Because those small goals compound into really positive changes.
yeah, yeah. And it's so true. And you have such a great community, and you're such an awesome coach. So just any FYI, anybody who's looking for support in the area of weight and health, reach out to Natalie. Okay. I mean, she's got this in terms of being able to support people. But I want to share something with you. I'm all into water and the messages of water. So I ordered these beautiful blue bottles that I've now put my 16 ounces. They're 16-ounce bottles. So I've got my blue bottles, and they're filled with filtered water, gone through osmosis. Okay, getting all crystallized and hell the water is being purified to the umph. And I look forward, I'm really excited to drinking this water, which hadn't been that way before. Okay, so I turned the,
Yeah.
oh, I got to drink my water today, like burden into, oh, I'm drinking this beautiful, wonderful, crystallized, magnetically clean, exciting water. Okay, so
Right? Mind power right there, because you actually took a really negative thought changed with drinking water, and you took that thought and you were able to now chain it to a positive thought, right? So that was you taking radical responsibility, and it's just chaining. And then eventually what happens is that habit that you're creating of not only the chain of the mindset, but the chain of the behavior, you're now going to start creating some automatic habits where you don't need to look at water as a negative or positive thing.
no,
It's just, there's no emotion attached, because now it's automatic, right? It's just an automatic habit. Like you look over your shoulder when someone says, "Hey, Ellie," automatic, right? So that's what we want with water. But it all starts in the mind.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, I think that we covered quite a lot of information in here, kind of packed it all full, and I am super excited. So here's the thing, people, if you're listening to this, and obviously you are because you're listening to this, and you want more information, reach out to Natalie, reach out to myself. We are going to be giving you tidbits every week going forward. So check out the Mind Power Paradigm with Ellie
Natalie.
and you. All right.
You.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. Have a great, blessed week. Wonderful. We just love you.
Love you all.
Bye.
Right.